Wow. Just a shocking, groundbreaking announcement for Monday morning. In some ways, I can't even believe that this is an actual thing. If you told me this just 5 years ago, no, I'm actually going to say just a little over a year ago, I don't think I would have believed you. But Xbox and the game industry is just changing so incredibly fast. And I think this announcement truly puts that into perspective. Now, what I'm talking about here, though, is that rumors about a Gears of War remastered collection were both correct and also wrong all at the same time. Now, just as a bit of a preface here, there is a very emotional part of this announcement for me because Gears is a top 3 franchise for me of all time. If you know anything about me at all, in no specific order, Gears, Pokemon, and Uncharted are my all-time 3 favorite franchises. So to say that I'm ecstatic about this announcement goes without saying. However, all at the same time here, I feel like Xbox is maybe shorting themselves just a bit here, and I will get into all of that today and how this specific reveal truly, and I mean truly, changes how we view the game industry going forward. First, though, I do want to go ahead and thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you just so much for what you do, and you will receive this video through early access. Let's just go and get right into things, though, starting off with The Revenge of the Savage Planet. The long-awaited sequel will be out later this week on May 8th, which, by the way, also includes a Day 1 Xbox Game Pass launch. I mean, I'll just go and say this right now. Xbox is absolutely killing it with their Game Pass subscription. It's just been so loaded these past few months, especially here just the last couple weeks. And the good news here is that early reviews for Revenge of the Savage Planet has mostly been positive. It currently has an 80 overall score on Metacritic with 14 total reviews. Now that could change as more reviews roll in, but currently, just to kind of put things into perspective, the first game received a 74 with 50 plus reviews. So it's a little hard to say how the two scores will compare when all is said and done, but at least so far, I've heard some fairly good things about the sequel. Sounds like it'll be another compelling Metroidvania adventure with some fun cooperative gameplay to boot. Now, that to me is really one of the main highlights. I always like these fun cooperative Game Pass games because it's pretty easy to get people to play together if you know a group of people who also have Game Pass. Again, though, Revenge of the Savage Planet will be available on May 8th. Now, we also got an update for the Switch 2 and its pre-orders. Admittedly, the pre-order period has been a little rough for some people, unfortunately. As expected with any kind of anticipated console, it's not been a smooth pre-order process per se, with a host of online errors and quick sellouts. However, if you're somebody who couldn't get a pre-order in, well, you might still be in luck when it launches this June. According to Nintendo Prime and also Jake Randall, who corroborated this information, Target will have a supply of consoles ready to purchase when it launches. And even better is that it sounds like they might have a pretty good supply on hand. You can see here where Nintendo Prime said, Switch 2 Day 1 stock alert. I was informed that all Target locations will have roughly 60 half and half Switch 2 systems on launch day. See photos for proof. Remember, in order to buy them that day, you often have to order online for in-store pickup. A great way to nab a Switch 2 at one of nearly 2,000 locations in the United States if you didn't get a pre-order in. Then right below that, Jake Randall responded that the numbers will vary by store and that these will go quick, but much better than the pre-orders because they are in-store pickup, not shipped to home. As I said in my last video update, good stuff, which I'm sure he had some finger guns there as well. But I think that last part is important to understand. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the early GameStop numbers that spread online like wildfire. Originally, there was a belief that each GameStop was going to have 100 units, and that wasn't even close to being true. My local GameStop, as one such example, only had, I believe it was 34. I got lucky. I was, I think, like number 24, number 25 in line or something like that. But point being is that 100 number didn't turn out to be true. So I think you need to kind of keep that in mind because there could be a lot less than 60 units as is claimed here, or at least at some of these Target locations. In other words, you need to be prepared because as soon as those Target orders goes up online, you're going to need to purchase it as quick as possible. Again, it might be a little bit better just because this is pickup in store. So it will be allocated to the store near you. You won't have as much competition to deal with, but Either way, I mean, the one encouraging thing that I can tell you all is that if you've still been unable to pre-order, I mean, at the very least, sounds like there will be more opportunities, including on launch day. Okay, so let's just go and get to the story of all stories, and I have a lot to say about this. Gears of War Reloaded was just announced, though unfortunately, this is only for the first game. I'll come back to that in just a bit, but it is an upgrade, a free upgrade for that matter, if you already own the digital remade 2015 Ultimate Edition. This is an upgrade of that very specific version. As a part of their announcement, though, they said that it'll include 4K resolution, 60 FPS in campaign, 120 FPS in multiplayer, HDR, it's going to have Dolby Vision, it's going to have spatial audio, VRR 4K assets, and remastered textures, enhanced post-processing visual effects, improved shadows and reflections, super resolution with improved anti-aliasing, and 0 loading screens during campaign, which I think that is actually one of the coolest parts about this upgrade. But I still have a lot of thoughts about this, and I mean, we might as well just go and start off with the elephant in the room. Gears of War will be on the PlayStation 5, which is so strange to think about. I mean, we are legitimately talking about one of Xbox's historical 3 main pillars. And for that matter, if you think about it, 2 of their 3 main pillars, Forza and Gears, will be on PlayStation by the end of 2025. I think that's pretty telling about their multi-platform plans. There are absolutely no red lines. Now, all this doesn't necessarily guarantee that Gears E-Day, being the next mainline title, will be on the PlayStation 5 day one as well. Now, maybe it will be, or maybe it won't be. I could see it really going either way, but technically, Microsoft could be using this remake as an introduction for PlayStation fans. That way they can convince them to buy into future titles, no matter where they launch them. That's one possibility, but all that remains to be seen for the time being. We can only speculate. Now, at the same time, I know there's going to be a lot of heated conversation about the PS5 inclusion, and I get that. If you're like deeply ingrained into the Xbox ecosystem, I understand. But for me, and I can only speak for myself, I'm not necessarily against this. And let me explain why. There's really 2 reasons for me. One, being personal. And the other for really just the health of the Gears franchise going forward. I want this series to last for a very, very long time. The reality is, and this is crazy for me to think about, but Gears of War is almost 20 years old. It'll be 20 years next year. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but that means that I started playing Gears of War when I was about 14 or 15 years old back in 2006. And some of my best friends ever came from that original game. Most of our group still talks all of these years later. But again, 20 years is a very long time. And a lot has changed since then. Back then, the Xbox 360 was the most popular console for a lot of that generation. But we can't really say the same thing in 2025. Xbox consoles aren't in the same position as they used to be. Now, you can point to them not having exclusives. That could be one of the main reasons. Again, I understand those that are a little frustrated about this announcement, but, that also means that there are a lot of people from that PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation that moved on to other platforms. For me, again, I'm just going to use myself as an example here, but one of the members from our group only has a PlayStation 5 now, whereas another mainly plays on PC. So the fact that Gears Reloaded will be cross-play, which includes PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, that means that we can all play together regardless of the platform that we play on. So that's actually really big news for our specific group, and I'm sure other people will have similar situations. The other part about this, though, is that I think this could be a good thing for the Gears of War franchise. Gears has an incredibly tight and hardcore community, but it's not necessarily the biggest community when you compare it to other multiplayer franchises. So really, with its introduction for PlayStation, the Gears community theoretically could grow quite significantly. This could be a real opportunity for the Gears of War franchise to really cement its history for the future as well. But I'll tell you this right now. If you've never played a Gears of War game before, There is absolutely, and I mean absolutely nothing else that plays like it. It's been 20 years, but nothing has ever replicated it. And its multiplayer is very, very competitive. If you're new, you're probably going to lose a lot early on because you simply just don't understand the speed, the tenacity, and the different mechanics that it involves. But don't give up. Learn the mechanics because it is a truly, just a truly special game once you do. The one thing that I will complain about here, though, because, again, we can talk about the PlayStation 5, and, yeah, it's a little strange to say Gears is coming to the PS5, but it is what it is. The thing for me, and don't get me wrong, I'm still incredibly excited about this game, but I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity to not include Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3. Fans have been calling for a Gears collection pretty much since the Master Chief Collection was first revealed more than 10 years ago. The Master Chief Collection included an already remade Halo 1, then they remade the second game, and they also included Halo 3 as one single bundle. So I don't really understand why Gears hasn't followed that same template, or at least thus far. I mean, there is a chance that they could release, let's say, Gears of War 2 Ultimate Edition next year. Maybe they just release all three of these games individually. That is possible. But I'm kind of losing my confidence that this will ever happen because it's been 10 years since the release of Ultimate Edition, and now all we're getting is an upgrade of the same version. So right now, all I can say is that I feel like this is a little bit of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, it is a good way for them to introduce a lot of new fans, especially over on platforms like PlayStation. And all this is just ahead of the eventual Gears of War E-Day, which that is probably why they're doing at least the first game so far. Either way, I think right now, us Gears fans have a ton, and I mean just a ton, to celebrate. I'm super excited to just get my group back online and play this game. Oh, man. I can't wait. I really can't wait. August 26th, let's go. Let me know what you all think about all this, though. Do you like the news? How do you feel about the PlayStation 5 version? And what do you think about them not including Gears of War 2 and 3? What I will say before I go, though, is that if you've never played a Gears game, whether you're on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, please go do so because it truly is something special, and I think that still remains the case all of these years later. It is a one-of-a-kind franchise. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.